Hey guys, welcome to question and answer number 4. Got a little different background now. I'm in my office at home, and everybody's sound asleep. It's 12:30 a.m. right now, so everybody's asleep, so I'm going to be talking a little quieter. Got a few questions this week. I've got one other one that's not on the question page. It came through from a buddy of mine, so I'll answer that one last. But first question is from Trapper234, and he wants to know how much sleep do I average during the trapping season. And basically, I don't really have any different amount in the trapping season, because I don't really sleep too much at the best of times. Well, just because I don't like sleeping. So, like, I'll probably get, 5-6 hours sleep a night, and that seems to do me fine. If I get more than that, I feel like a zombie all day. I don't feel like doing anything, so try and keep it no more than 6 hours. When I was younger, I used to run on probably 4 would be the norm, but lots of times when I was really young, I used to pull all-nighters pretty regular. I just never really needed a lot of sleep, and hence my one of my favorite saying is, sleep is for people who have nothing better to do. Okay, so Doug Moore wants to know, have I ever lost or broken a gun on the trap line or while hunting? Never lost a gun. I've had near misses with them where, flipped a canoe or something but got the guns back. The only one I ever broke was when I was, I guess, 16. I was walking out of the bush, and it was well after dark. It was pitch black actually, and I was walking out, and down in southern Ontario where I used to trap, it was a lot of open rock ledges, little patch of bush, open rock ledges, and I was walking across one of those open rock ledges, and I went to step on what I thought was a rock, but it ended up it was a porcupine. I stepped on it to jump up onto this little ledge, and when it moved under my foot, it kind of freaked me out, and I two-handed it over the head with my .22 and broke the stock right in half. So that's the only time I ever broke or lost a gun. Okay, my son wants to catch big pike. What are your suggestions or tips? Tips or tricks for shore lunches? Obviously it's fish and chips, but any favorite spices or tricks? And favorite brand of truck and snow machine? Well, I seriously believe all trucks right now are built to break, but I drive Fords. I've driven Ford since I was probably 24 years old, 25. I got people that just swear by Dodges, people that swear by Chevys. Like I said, I think they are all just designed to break and designed so that you can't work on them unless you're a mechanical genius. So, snowmobiles, I've always liked Ski-Doos. Had an Arctic Cat when I was younger. Really liked that machine. I've had Yamahas back in the day, like in the 80s, didn't like them machines at all. I had that Polaris, which for me was a piece of crap. I know I've had guys tell me that they liked theirs, but mine was an absolute piece of crap. Now, to catch big pike, boy, obviously big pike fishing is like a lot of things. It's location. You got to be in an area where big pike inhabit, and that all boils down to what kind of food they have in the water system. On my old trap line in Ontario, we had lakes that were entirely pike, but they didn't have proper food. We had lakes where you just didn't get nothing more than 28, 29 inches, and it's because the food that was in there you know, they basically expended as much energy to catch the fish or the bait fish as they got out of it. So you want to look for lakes that have, you know, probably your best pike feed is whitefish and tulaby. They're very oily. Most lakes have at least suckers, which are, you know, another good fish for them to allow them to grow big. But like the lake where my lodge is, it's just full of tulaby and whitefish, and that's one of the main reasons why our fish get so big there. Fish shallow water in the spring. You know, fish cabbage weed beds in the summertime. Our lake, you know, we run 12 feet of water, you know, where the prime weed beds are all the time, and that's about what we run in the summertime when we're fishing. But I love spring fishing too, getting up into the shallows and stuff. And but the only problem is the fish are pretty lethargic in the spring, so because of the cold water. Shore lunch. Okay, I'm gonna give out a tip that we use at the lodge for our shore lunches. It's I'm gonna give you this recipe. This is something that's never been given out before. Everybody, all the customers always want to know what the fish coating is made out of, and we will never tell them. So you're on a worldwide exclusive here. Okay, the batter we use, it's not a batter, sorry, it's a dry powder, is 20 parts of flour, 3 parts of seasoning salt, 1 part garlic powder, 1 part onion powder, and 1 part black pepper. So it doesn't matter what the parts are, cups, teaspoons, whatever you want, but 23-1-1-1. Stir it up good. That's what we, you know, wet the fish good, put it in that powder, shake it up, deep fry. The other thing we do with it, it also makes a really good batter for if you take French fries, cut them up, get them good and wet, put them through there and deep fry them. It makes a super crispy fry. We don't do that all the time. I just do that once in a while. But then we also cut up onions into onion rings, wet them really good, put them in that powder, and deep fry them, and those things are just absolutely amazing. But like you said here, fish and chips obviously, but we also have pork and beans with our shore lunches. That's a pretty normal thing up here. So anyways, that's about answers that one. Now Colin wants to know, I've heard beaver meat can taste different at different parts of the year. I haven't noticed that. I don't think beaver can ever taste like castor because it's totally separated from the meat. That's unless somebody baked one with the castors right in it. Maybe somebody did that. That would be kind of bizarre, but that would be a lot like muskrat. If you're cooking muskrat, there's in the back legs of a muskrat, there's a gland in there that you really got to remove, or it can be. I mean, I don't like the rat. If that thing's taken out, it tastes very musky. So, and when I was eating beaver in the bush all the time, I only cooked the hind legs. I cut them off all the time. I kept the rest for bait. I was always short of bait, but no, I just and clean all the fat off and whatever you do. It should really come off. But when I was cooking beaver, like I said, and beaver is a very rich meat, but it's generally rich because it's not bled. Like normally animals that get killed and butchered are bled out, but a beaver dies in the trap. You want to try and take fresh ones, you know, before the blood solidifies in there. And, you know, because if one's been sitting in the trap for, you know, several days, that blood gets, you know, coagulated in there, and then it stays in the meat. But I always soak it overnight in salt water, because salt water will draw some of the blood out. And then I parboil the beaver, the whole back leg of the beaver. And you can do whatever you want with it, stewing, you know, cut it up as stewing, but I used to bake the whole back leg. In the videos this year, I'll show you how I used to bake in the bush there with little contraption I have set up. So anyways, but I've never, like I said, I've never heard of beaver meat tasting like castor. But anyways, okay. KMD tree. Beaver snare pole. What is the overall length of your snare and loop size? Now, if you want a 10-inch loop for beavers, that's the norm. I mean, I guess some guys would go a little bigger, maybe a little smaller, but 10 inches, pretty much the standard size for a beaver snare. And a 41-inch piece of wire will give you a perfect snare. That'll give you enough room to bend over and on both sides and through your lock and stuff. So that's all you need. Hi Dave, when are we going to be seeing some drone footage? Well, my son is here, my youngest son is here, and he's gonna get that upgrading set up for me so I can start using it, and I'm gonna hopefully get him to do that tomorrow. So, and I can't wait. Trapper 234. When do you start trapping this year, and what species? Well, I will be trapping as soon as the season opens up for beaver. I'm actually trapping right now. I'm doing nuisance trapping, but I'm kind of trying to go slow at it. I'm trying to stretch it out so that I can nail them when the season opens up and the fur is a little bit worth something. Ain't going to be worth a lot, but I'm hearing rumors that they might be looking for some early beavers, so I'm going to do that. And then rats, I'll start trapping rats when the season opens up too. Now, marten and stuff like that. Marten I'll probably wait, till the middle of November instead of the 1st of November when it opens up. I normally start right away. But I get a lot. Most of my marten are graded semis. If I waited a month, I'd get heavies, but it's always a juggling act, between, when the marten were $150, it pays to wait till they're heavy furred. But, at this price, it's like I said, it's a juggling act between the difference you're going to get between a semi and a heavy, and the fact that over that month you are going to lose a lot of your marten population to predation. The great gray owls move down into our area. They pick up a lot of marten. I mean, the fishers are going to take some. Everything likes to eat martens. So you got to just kind of do whatever works for you. I'm going to be going right away for most of the stuff. And I believe that the fur market will remain the same compared to last year. Yeah, there might be slight increases in certain things if there's a little bit of demand, but I don't see any big spike in the prices going up for this year. Anyways, like I said, might be the odd thing. Maybe somebody gets a big order for certain animals, so it might drive the price up a little bit. But overall, I don't think it's going to be too much of a drastic difference. And how far do I drive to drop off my fur for the auction? Well, about 8 miles is where I've always only had to go, which is really not that far. I live 8 miles out of town, and there's a spot right in town. Like most of the FHA has a fur pickup location in almost every small town in Manitoba, just like they do in most of Ontario, and Saskatchewan too and stuff. And as it gets out west, I guess it's a little like more space in between, just because out west they're pretty strong with NAFA for whatever reason, who knows. But anyways, so out here they're FHA is pretty strong, and they have a pickup schedule for every little town going, so. Okay. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, okay, great as always. My question is, do I fry fish in lard for shore lunch? Okay, and the guy did it with butter flavored lard. It was not vegetable oil. It was the best tasting fried fish I've ever had. That I've mentioned before. I feel like I'm sitting down. Okay. I don't cook anything in lard. As you can see, I don't need lard in my diet. This is what I look like when I eat everything in canola oil. So lard wouldn't be pretty. Yeah, I mean, you cook anything in animal fat, it's going to taste better than vegetable oil, but you got, as you get older, you apparently have to start thinking about your health a little bit more. And so, no lard. Straight canola oil is all we use at the lodge, and it's all I use here too. So, okay, and that's all the questions that were on the page. So now I'm going to jump to that question from a buddy of mine, Dano. He's got a new trap line in just north of Sault Ste. Marie, halfway between Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Wawa, up in the hardwood country. A lot of maple, a lot of non-beaver type habitat, big mountainous areas. He's got some water on his ground and stuff, but he's been going through there, scouting out and everything, and he said so far he's only found like 8 beaver houses, and they all seem to be small, like fairly new houses. He's not really, obviously hasn't been able to check out any feed beds yet because they're not up, but I mean that's obviously a better way to tell how many beavers are in a colony. But he seems to think that there's not a lot of beavers in each house. So, and he wanted to know, would it be better to just take one beaver out of a house? That's never a good idea. If you think it's a small, only a couple beavers. If you think there's just 2 beavers in there, and you take one big one, you might as well take both of them out of there, because beavers mate for life. If it's a younger mating couple, then sometimes they'll pick up another mate. But I've had lots of times where I took out one of the breeding pair, and that other one just never ever breeds again. And so if that happens, and I try not to trap small houses, period. But if you got to do it, you need bait or whatever, then I would skip every second house. Would probably be a better thing to do in that scenario. Out here, we really have no issues about not having enough beavers, because there is beavers on every little. You spit on the ground and the beavers are right behind you trying to build a house. So but yeah, I would. If you set a trap and you get a 2-year-old beaver, fine. That means there's, more beavers than you think, obviously, because if there's 2-year-olds, then there's going to be 1-year-olds in there too. So take a couple beavers out of there. But for now, in that scenario, I would just trap every second house. And take 2 beavers out of the house, so that will help. The one house down below, the one that you do leave, it'll give them a year to have babies and so on, and have the 2-year-olds scoot out to make a pond of their own. But anyways, I guess that's it. It's just a short one this week, and I think I missed any. Just give me a second. Yeah, that's everything. Alrighty. Okay, well, give me a bunch more questions for next week, guys. And we'll see you. Trapping season's just around the corner. And I'm going to go out and And I can hear coyotes howling outside like crazy right now, and the dogs are barking their heads off at them. So, yeah.